Kansas intends to throw over 1/5 of their 90,000 unemployed residents off of the SNAP program, reinstating the federal work requirements, which are usually waived in times of extreme joblessness. Oklahoma and Wisconsin are also geared to follow suit. So 20,000 people approximately who cannot find work in these conditions will be forced off of the SNAP program and will be denied food stamp funding. Even nationwide right now, here's some statistics that there are 3 job seekers for every job opening right now. And Annie McKay of the Kansas Center for Economic Growth said that taking someone off food stamps isn't going to suddenly create jobs for them. I think that's absolutely true. All they're doing is taking away these people's ability to eat. They're not incentivizing these people to get a job that they otherwise would have gotten if they hadn't been getting these food stamps, you know, to help them. But this is a trend that's been going on for quite some time. The governor there, Governor Brownback, has already cut 15,000 people off the welfare dole and eliminated child tax credits, which of course primarily affects the working poor. And he has also gotten rid of tax credits for food and rent, and he has fallen $500 million short of the minimum level of education funding that residents of that state are legally entitled to. So he's done a fine job of expressing how much he is willing to help the poor in his state. Obviously he's shaming and dehumanizing the poor in the way that so many other leaders of this country have been doing lately, even though the vast majority of food stamp recipients are either working or not expected to be part of the workforce because they are children, they are elderly, or they are disabled.
Okay, so
that makes up over...
One thing I have to throw in there is that this requirement, to be fair, it's only for able-bodied adults without children.
Right, it's for able-bodied adults, but when there are no jobs available,
and that's where we get into the problem. You're trying to cut people off at the knees when they don't have the jobs. It'd be a different story if Kansas had jobs falling out of the fucking sky, and you could just go out and trip over one.
In spite of this economic climate that we're dealing with right now, even still, in spite of that, 80% of unemployed recipients who go onto the SNAP program find work within a year of going onto the program. They just need to be given a chance. They need to be given that help in order to get that opportunity, so they're not, you know, starving while they're searching for a job.
Wait a minute. So what you're saying is that the program has been working as a hand up instead of a handout, but what we want to do is kick people in the face and take away most of their food for getting in trouble in the first place.
Well, no, because that's going to incentivize people to try even harder to find a job. Look,
yeah, punishment always works.
And pushing you down, and that's all it really is.
Let me just say, Sam Brownback, governor of Kansas, he was in the news recently for cracking down on abortion because, of course, he's Christian. And for this story, let me say, how Christian of him.
Exactly.
For sure, for sure. And there's something I want to point out, too, is that the unemployment rate in Kansas has just recently gone up again. Oh, that's strange. To 5.7%. Now, that's below the national average, okay? But it has been increasing, and actually it's at the highest rate that it's been all year. So, Governor Brownback, great job, pal. Great job bringing those jobs back.
Let me throw out, just real quick, let me throw out 2 facts about food stamps that I think are just nails in the coffin in this whole discussion. First of all, the average amount of money that a food stamp recipient makes per year, $9,000. And of course, you know, the argument is, well, these moochers, and how many times have you heard on Fox News they make the argument of, well, you know, being poor, these guys are doing actually fine. They got a refrigerator and they got a TV and they're doing just great. $9,000 a year. That is abysmally low. And also, the fraud rate, officially, the official fraud rate for food stamps, 1%. So you know the argument of, oh my God, these guys, you don't understand, they're taking advantage of the system. Wrong. Only 1% is taking advantage.
I saw somebody in Walmart slide his food card for steak and then get into his BMW. That's the kind of stuff that you hear on right-wing radio, on Fox News.
Yep,
the classic Reagan welfare queen, and it just doesn't exist because nobody can actually verify it.
You know, the second that any of these Republicans, the second that either they or somebody in their family fell on hard times and needed food stamps or needed the social safety net, then all of a sudden, oh my God, what are you talking about? We can't cut this. This is the best program ever. We need it desperately. In fact, let's increase funding to it. And we always see it. I mean, how many times have you heard Republican congressmen talk about, oh, big government, horrible, we hate big government. And then their family is taking subsidies. They're taking subsidies for their farm. I mean,
or not only that, you know, they're made up of contractors who work on road contracts or water and wastewater contractors, or so everything that feeds on the tit of the government, but it's not really a bad thing. But yet they'll speak about it like it is, and it's all part of a flow to try and help bring everybody up. I mean, looking down and degrading people and shaming, you can't shame people off of welfare. Well, actually you can, and that's a problem. That is a problem. You can shame some people off of it. And all it does is make them suffer more.
Yeah, there's actually a
there was another study that showed. Yeah, there were some statistics. I don't remember the exact numbers, but there are thousands of people in the country right now that feel too shamed to get help that they actually qualify for.
Right, they're eligible, but they don't want to take it because they're afraid that, well, you know, if I do that, I'm no better than that welfare, you know, taking parasite that Rush Limbaugh and Bill O'Reilly keep talking about.
Look, here's the way I think about it. Like, there are plenty of conservatives who I don't hate and I think are genuine actors, and a lot of those guys are like libertarians, for example, where they are consistent in their belief in small government. So they don't like welfare programs, but they also don't like corporate subsidies, which is another form of welfare, right? But the Republican Party, they have no problem. In fact, they actively push for corporate welfare, which is the worst kind of welfare because the corporations don't need it. They're already fucking rich. But they're totally against welfare for people who actually need it to survive as the last line of defense. It's unbelievable, and it drives me crazy.
Well, you know, if you did it in the reverse and you did not give it to the corporations, I can understand one point of view of the claim of fairness. I understand that point of view in a simple way, but when you get into the complex portions of it, then the point of view starts to wane, and the people who need it definitely need help, and they should receive it in a modern society. And it's like we don't want to move on and advance. It's like nobody knows the century switched, and you know, it's like 20th century. Remember the 20th Century Fox logo? Well, yeah, guess what? It's now the 21st century, and the centuries are going to keep moving forward and forward and forward. And either we're going to move forward or we're not. I mean, just think about 80 years ago when you didn't have toilet paper. We do now, and people use it. You know, I mean, some things are beneficial, and it's okay to modernize and progress as a society. And yeah. I don't see the point in making people suffer to keep them in servitude. That's really all it is a point of servitude, and being on welfare is still servitude.
To your point, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, Sweden, Finland, France, Britain, you name the European country, the Western European country, literally all of them. We are the only modern industrial nation. We have the most meager safety net of all of those places. Yet our conservative politicians in this country, and honestly, sometimes even the so-called liberals, the Democrats, are so quick to want to cut it even further when ours is the cheapest and most meager. Look, the way I look at it, our tax dollars, either you're paying the government to, like, appease them, right, as a lot of conservatives view it, like, take my 10% and get the fuck away, right? Or you should actually demand something for the money that you're paying. So if I'm paying 10%, I'm paying 20%, For fuck's sake, give me healthcare, give me education, give me a safety net so that if people fall on hard times, they can not starve. This
And
isn't
stop
radical
using
stuff.
it to
It's very straightforward.
And stop using it to bomb brown people.
Most
Let's feed our people. Let's take care of our people. Help them out. Get them some health care so they can, be healthy and actually contribute to society. And instead, we're feeding the military-industrial complex. Just look at what's going on in Syria. We're going to get involved. How come nobody has ever asked a single question about where the money's coming from and how we're going to pay for it? You know how we're going to pay for it? We're going to cut our own stuff here at home. That's how we're going to pay for it.